Are you a Christian who desires to overcome the disease to please? Do you struggle with extreme guilt and anxiety while setting a boundary? Do you struggle with extreme guilt and anxiety before or after setting a boundary? Do you want to walk in your God-given identity and not feel the need to alter who you are to appease others? If you answered yes to any of those questions, then this video might just be for you. And if you answered no to most of those questions, this video will help you better understand those who struggle in this way. The goal of this video is to help you overcome people-pleasing while being fueled by the love and grace of God. God knows the events that took place in your life that have influenced you to behave in this way. He is aware of the challenges that you face when taking steps to overcome people-pleasing. Remember that God is with you and He is strengthening you on this journey. So, if you want to learn to set boundaries, tell hard truths when necessary, and practice walking in your God-given identity despite what people may think, keep watching. The first tip in overcoming the disease to please is preparation. Preparation is key. What can be very helpful is to memorize the boundary that you plan to set, similarly to like you would with theater lines. You want to rehearse it, practice it, and this is super helpful to those who struggle with social anxiety. Maybe you stumble over your words or you'll forget in the moment what you need to say. This can help you a lot. Another thing that can be helpful is having a list of boundaries in your notes app. And y'all, this is something I actually do myself. And you can use these boundaries at your disposal, whether that be in person, through text, or email. Now, one thing I will advise you to do, if something is really important, set the boundary in person. Really try to set that boundary in person, because sometimes we'll try to set a boundary through text or email as a way, as a form of avoidance. We're too scared to talk to someone in person, so we opt to text and email. And you don't want to do that all the time. You want to overcome your fear of people, overcome your fear of confrontation, and set that boundary in person when you can, especially if it's very important. So keep that in mind and use wisdom, use discernment, so you know which path to take to set your boundary. The second tip in overcoming the disease to please is to face your fear. You want to combat the urge to avoid confrontation, to avoid setting a boundary, to avoid showing up as your authentic self. Avoidance may seem comfortable in the moment, but it's really keeping you in that cycle to people please, and it comes back to bite you. I'm saying this from experience, y'all. It comes back to bite you. You don't want to be friends to worry. You don't want to be friends to rumination and resentment. You want to practice stepping out and overcoming your fear of people. The third tip in overcoming the disease to please is to validate your feelings. Now, let me give a disclaimer. I do not think that any and every feeling should be validated, but I think that it can be appropriate for you to validate your feelings in overcoming people-pleasing. Now, some of you may be thinking, what exactly does it look like to validate your feelings? Like, I don't know how to have positive self-talk. I don't know how to validate my feelings. And let me give you an example of something that I would do before or after setting a boundary. This is what I'd say to myself. God is with me. I can survive the discomfort that I'm feeling right now. I will not beat myself up for having anxious feelings, but I will remember that in facing my fears comes recovery. Now, that's what I do, and the breathing really helps. It helps to regulate yourself, and just encouraging yourself, reminding yourself of God and His truth. It can be very comforting. And on this journey to overcoming people pleasing, you will face resistance because you are in the process of breaking a cycle. Listen to that. You're in the process of breaking a cycle. And that is a beautiful thing. And through this, God is strengthening you. Through this, God is teaching you patience. Through this, God is teaching you so many things. And you can overcome people pleasing. You can do it. So don't be discouraged. The fourth tip in overcoming the disease to please is to focus on your response rather than trying to fix your feelings. Now, what I mean by this is that you're going to have this, most likely, an immediate urge to try to snap out of your anxiety. Oh, why am I feeling this way? Why am I like this? Why am I so anxious right now? All these emotions. Oh, it's overwhelming. You're going to want to fix yourself. And you have to remember on this journey, patience. And focus on the fact that you set that boundary anyways. That's beautiful. You set that boundary despite how you felt. You set that boundary despite how that person responded. Focus on that rather than trying to hurry up and fix your feelings. Now, sometimes when you set a boundary, it won't go well. And that's just reality. The person may be upset with you. They may be visibly disappointed. They may be visibly uncomfortable and anxious, and that may cause you to feel extreme guilt and anxiety. But remember, don't beat yourself up for having anxious feelings after setting a boundary. Learn to sit with the discomfort. And Lord willing, with time, that anxiety will gradually diminish. Now, the good side to setting a boundary is that it can go well too. The person may appreciate your vulnerability and honesty. They may appreciate that you are an assertive individual and be inspired by you. They will appreciate that you honor their time and you tell them your availability and stuff like that. They will appreciate you. And no matter what happens, no matter how a person responds to you setting a boundary, good or bad, celebrate that you did it anyway. Celebrate, praise God that you are stepping into your true identity. It's coming into fruition, and that is an amazing thing. The fifth tip in overcoming people pleasing is patience. Patience is vital. You have to remember that God is patient with you. 1 Corinthians 13:4-8 says, love is patient. Love is kind. And y'all, God is love. He is patient. He is kind. And we want to reflect his nature. It says, it does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. Now, people-pleasing is self-seeking because you want acceptance, and you'll become a chameleon and alter who you are in order to appease others. And we have to remember self-sacrifice instead of self-preservation. And what I mean by self-preservation is self-seeking. You care more about being comfortable than telling someone the truth or setting that boundary, showing up as your authentic self, your true God-given self, you know? Then it says, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrong. People-pleasing, if y'all want to be real for a second, people-pleasing can lead to resentment. And you might just keep a record of wrongs. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. The next thing is that it says, love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. That is so important, y'all. Out of our love for God, out of our love for others, we tell the truth. Then it says, it always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. You have to remind yourself that God is patient with you on this journey. And God is so proud of you when you take the step to overcome people-pleasing, when you set that boundary, when you don't avoid confrontation, when you show up as your authentic self when it seems uncomfortable. He is so proud of you. He knows what it takes for you to step out. He knows the struggle. And he celebrates when you show up as your authentic self, when you step out. He is so proud of you. And I really want you to know that. Whatever circumstance you're in, remember that God is with you. Where you go, he goes. And that is beautiful. That is beautiful, y'all. Be patient with yourself. God is patient with you, and be patient with yourself. We have to remember that healing takes time. On this journey to overcoming people pleasing, you will have ups and downs. You will have emotional highs and emotional lows, and maybe somewhere in the middle along this journey. And there will be times where you give in to the temptation to people please. And there might be times where you go to the extreme and you lash out and you get angry at someone. And you have to remember not to give up despite those struggles, despite those ups and downs. You have to get back up and try again. Embrace the journey. And I know our culture, we've been influenced to want to have a quick fix all the time. Hustle, hustle, and bustle. But sometimes we have to embrace the journey and be patient. And Proverbs 24:16 says, "The godly may trip 7 times, but they will get up again." You may trip in this journey of overcoming people pleasing, but you will get back up again. Period. And the goal, y'all, is progress, not perfection. Now, I really hope this video blessed somebody, and I pray that you have a lovely day or night. Bye, y'all.